It was a quiet summer evening in the English countryside, the kind of place where nothing ever goes wrong. A mother, two young daughters, walking home on a familiar path. But within minutes, that peaceful walk would turn into one of the most brutal and haunting crimes Britain had ever seen. No warning, no motive, no mercy. And by the time help arrived, it was already too late. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. In 1996, a shocking attack in rural Kent shattered the illusion of safety in one of England's most peaceful regions. A loving family was ambushed in broad daylight, leaving behind a crime scene so disturbing it would haunt investigators for years. With no clear suspect and no obvious reason, the case quickly spiraled into one of the most complex murder investigations in British history. But hidden within the tragedy was a single, fragile thread of hope. A survivor, and her memory would become the key to everything. The morning began like any other. Soft sunlight spilled across the Russell family's countryside cottage, surrounded by greenery and the quiet hum of nature. It was the kind of life many people dream of, peaceful, simple, and far removed from the chaos of the modern world. Dr. Lynn Russell was a devoted mother, strong, independent, and deeply caring. She had built a warm and nurturing home for her two daughters, Josie and Megan. Josie, the eldest, was bright, confident, and full of life. She had a natural leadership about her, the kind of child who made friends easily and left a lasting impression. Megan, younger and quieter, had a more reserved personality. But behind her calm nature was a determined and thoughtful soul, deeply connected to her family. Together, they were inseparable. That day, like many others, started with routine. Breakfast, school preparations, and a quick goodbye before heading out the door. There was nothing unusual, nothing to suggest that within hours, everything would change forever. After dropping the girls at school, Lynn returned home to continue her daily tasks. The countryside was calm, almost too calm, the kind of silence that feels comforting until it doesn't. Meanwhile, at school, Josie and Megan went about their day. Lessons, laughter, and even a swimming event filled their schedule. To them, it was just another normal day. But as the afternoon approached, something shifted. Lynn set out to walk and collect her daughters from school. The route was familiar, a quiet country lane, surrounded by trees and open fields. It was a path they had walked many times before. Safe, predictable, harmless, or so it seemed. When the school day ended, the girls met their mother, and together they began the walk back home. It should have taken minutes, but they never made it. Hours passed, and at home, Sean Russell began to notice something was wrong. At first, it didn't seem alarming. Perhaps they were delayed. Maybe plans had changed. But as time ticked on, unease turned into concern, and concern into fear. Phone calls were made. Friends were contacted. Places were checked. Nothing. No sign. No explanation. By evening, the situation had escalated. Sean contacted the police, his voice carrying the weight of growing panic. A missing mother and two children in the countryside was not something to ignore. Search teams were quickly organized. Officers, dogs, and volunteers began combing the surrounding areas. The peaceful countryside transformed into a scene of urgency and dread. And then they found them. Just a short distance from their home, hidden near the roadside, lay a scene so horrific it would shock even seasoned investigators. The three had been brutally attacked. There were no signs of robbery, no clear motive, just unimaginable violence. At first glance, it appeared that all three victims had died. The news was devastating. Sean's worst fears had come true. His family gone. The world he knew shattered in an instant. But then, something unexpected happened. As medical teams examined the bodies more closely, they noticed something, a faint sign of life. One of the girls was still breathing, barely alive, clinging to the edge, but alive. It was Josie. In that moment, despair gave way to a fragile sense of hope. She was rushed to the hospital immediately, her condition critical. Severe head injuries, extensive trauma. The odds were against her. Doctors worked tirelessly, unsure if she would survive the night. Back at the scene, investigators faced a daunting challenge. No witnesses. No weapon recovered. No clear suspect. It was a crime without logic, random, brutal, and deeply disturbing. The kind of case that keeps detectives awake at night. As news of the attack spread, the entire community fell into shock. This wasn't supposed to happen here. Not in a place like this. The sense of safety people once felt was gone. Fear had replaced it. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Josie's condition remained critical. Machines kept her alive as doctors monitored every sign of progress. For Sean, the waiting was unbearable. Hours felt like days. Every update carried the weight of life or death. And yet, against all odds, Josie began to improve. Slowly, painfully, but undeniably. It was nothing short of a miracle. As she regained consciousness, she became more than just a survivor. She became the only witness. The only person who knew what truly happened on that quiet country lane. Detectives understood the importance of her memory, but they also knew the risks. Pushing too hard could cause more harm. Waiting too long could mean losing crucial details. It was a delicate balance. Piece by piece, investigators began to reconstruct the timeline. The attack had been sudden, violent, unprovoked. There was no known connection between the victims and their attacker, which made it even more terrifying. Anyone could have been next. The pressure on police intensified. Media coverage exploded, turning the case into a national headline. Everyone wanted answers, but answers were hard to find. With limited evidence and no clear suspect, the investigation seemed to be hitting dead ends. Until one name surfaced. A local man with a troubled past, a history of violence, unstable behavior, known to authorities. Michael Stone. He quickly became the prime suspect. But suspicion alone wasn't enough. Detectives needed proof. And once again, all eyes turned to Josie. Her testimony could confirm everything, or change everything. As she slowly recovered, she began to recall fragments of that day. Not everything, not clearly, but enough. Enough to point investigators in a direction. Enough to build a case. The road to justice, however, was far from simple. Legal battles, conflicting evidence, and public scrutiny made the process long and complicated. The case divided opinions. Some believed the suspect was guilty. Others weren't convinced. But one thing remained certain. A family had been destroyed. A mother and daughter lost forever. And a young girl forced to live with memories no child should ever carry. In the end, the case would go down as one of the most haunting crimes in British history. Not just because of its brutality, but because of its unanswered questions. Even today, it leaves behind a chilling reminder that sometimes evil doesn't come with a warning. It doesn't follow patterns. It doesn't need a reason. And sometimes it strikes in the places we feel safest. The quietest roads, the most peaceful homes, the ordinary moments we take for granted. Because on that summer day, what started as a simple walk home became a nightmare that would never truly end.